I thought I'd start off today's video with some positivity because this video is going to cost me a couple of $1,000. We all knew it was coming. The cheap Falcon definitely needs some work. But before we get into that, I received a really lovely message from a company up in New South Wales. Their company name is Smooth As Detailing, and I can't thank them enough for this little care package that they sent me a couple of days ago. I've actually been watching their Facebook page for a fair while now, and they've been doing some wicked work. They randomly commented on one of my stories a couple of days ago, and I'm like, I know that name. So I shot them a message, they shot me a message, and within 2 messages, they wanted to send me a care package. So, without further ado, look at that! So, can I just say that this is a lot bigger of a care package than I expected. I have wanted a set of like wheel woolies. Oof! Interior brushes as well. Oh my lord. Oh, I've needed some of these for so long. I wonder if one of them is I'm surely they'll tell me if there's like a brush that you use for the paint without scratching it, because that'll get so handy for badges and stuff. Oh my lord. Can never have enough big yellow microfibers, my favorite. And then a massive wash bucket, and it's filled with more microfibers, a mad as wash mitt, and then I have glass cleaner, tire dressing, iron remover. That's gonna be so good. A wash and wax as well. There's so much. Interior protectant, and it's also got some wheel cleaner as well. All-purpose cleaner, more interior cleaner, and this right here, which is a spray wax. Yeah, applicator pads, and then literally all the things you could possibly want. That's ridiculous. They sent me like their entire collection. That is wild. Your best bet, we're definitely gonna be cleaning up the ute one day using all of this stuff. So thank you, Smooth As. I'm gonna be putting a link in the description for those guys there. Still yet to give them a quick little test, but I'm sure these guys have done an amazing job, and we'll test them out in a later video. What awesome guys, thank you. So as I said guys, yes, this video is going to include me spending a lot of money on a transmission for the ute, and I'm going to quickly let you guys know as to why that is and how I came to the decision that we definitely need to build the transmission. The ute. I absolutely love it. It has been such a comfortable daily over these last 2 months. I can't believe I actually owned it for that long. However, as you guys know, there was one reason why we got this car cheap, and today that pays off, I guess. Today we're making this Falcon a regular costing Falcon, unfortunately. I've tried a lot of different fixes to try and sort this ZF transmission out, but at the end of the day, there's only so much that little bits of regular servicing can do to try and fix one of the most temperamental transmissions that ever came out in a Falcon. If you guys are new around here, welcome to the videos. My name is Zach, and I bought a $10,000 XR6 Turbo a couple of months ago. The reason I got it so cheap was because it had a little bit of a dicky ZF in it. Now, ZFs are a great transmission, don't get me wrong. There are so many good things about them. I just happen to buy bad examples every single time I do it. So today I'm doing it right. This transmission here, we have been trying to fix ever since I got the car. We've done a service, we did a transcooler. There wasn't really too much I wanted to dive inside the actual trans itself, like doing bridge seals or anything crazy, but there was a few other interesting little things that the transmission was doing that led me to go, okay, there are so many issues, we're just gonna build it and get it ready for some power. I know, it's very unlike me. The old ZacBaldy would definitely just wind 620 horsepower into it and send it and then complain when it broke. But that's not me. Yeah, it is me. I wish it was me. I wish I was still putting a standard trans back in this thing. Today, after work, we're going to be taking this thing to RNS, and we're going to be sorting it out with one of their stage 1 built transmissions rated for 450 kilowatt. That's about 70-ish kilowatt more than I want in this car, so it's going to be absolutely perfect. So first up, let's talk about the issues with the current ZF. So when I bought the car, it had a few fault codes that came up when it was trying to switch between second and third gear. Now, I have tried to recreate that entire issue ever since I have owned this car. and for some reason the thing just won't throw codes at me. I took it as, alright, hopefully I can fix this thing, hopefully it sorts itself out. It was flaring between second and third and fourth as per normal with regular driving on an unserviced transmission. So I knew with towing I needed to do a oil cooler anyway. So I got myself sorted with some fresh modal in the box, and I also ended up going out and getting an Aeroflow transcooler from Barrow the World. We put that on the car and it was great for about 500 kilometers, and then all hell broke loose with the transmission. What can happen with these things, especially if you mix oil or anything on those lines, because we didn't do a full flush on this thing, it started slipping even worse between second and fourth, and then it also started to have torque converter shutter. From the sources that I have spoken to, which has mainly just been Gene and Terry from work and Mez from Barrow the World, every single one of these people have just gone, look, you can either try chase your tail and try and fault find this transmission and, you know, put a new torque converter in it and do a whole bunch of other things with it, but at the end of the day, it's still a transmission that you're about to wind 500 horsepower into that's got 320,000 kilometers on it. So I got a few quotes. We're going to bite the bullet today. We're going to put a fresh transmission in it. Torque converter shutter's going off right now. We're going to put a fresh transmission in it, and this thing's going to be ready for both the power and the towing that we're going to be doing with this thing. Rightio, driving the car at RNS right now. The transmission is literally hunting as we speak. Can't wait to get this thing done. So I ended up driving the car home that night and it was flawless. It felt a lot better than the original trans did. No flaring between gears. It feels incredible and notchy, and it's awesome. I love it. However, unfortunately, there is one little thing about this transmission that I need to resolve, and it actually wasn't in regards to the transmission at all. If you guys remember me talking about the torque converter shutter that I had originally, well, we went through, we built the entire trans, we put a brand new torque converter in this thing, well, a recode torque converter as well, and unfortunately, it seems like the shutter is still there, but it's not coming from the transmission. Either way, I'm very happy that I built the trans in this thing, because now we have a cryo input shaft. He's gone through, refreshed the entire trans. It shifts absolutely incredibly, and I'm sure there is a lot of massive benefits about going with a built trans now. The fact that it can take some power, the fact that I know it's going to be reliable, the fact that I know that pretty much all the internals in that transmission are all pretty much brand new. I'm very, very happy that I went through and did that trans. But now is going to come the fault finding process of where the shutter is coming from. I have a few ideas. I've spoken to a lot of other people that have a few ideas. So let's dive straight into it. It's not fun. All right, so when I went to go pick up the Falcon, Sash took it for a drive and he's like, look, it is infinitely better than the other transmission. And I completely agree with him there. However, he did know that the car had a few little tiny issues that he wanted to try and address to try work out what this shutter is. So he reckoned there was a couple of leaks around the engine that I could try and look at getting and fixing up. Now, the biggest one is there could be a vacuum leak around the car, which is coming on at a certain RPM that I need to try and fix. And he said it could be coming from the intake manifold, it could be coming from the exhaust manifold. And I immediately went, okay, cool. I know that the exhaust manifold has a leak because they do like to loosen over time at the rear of the manifold. So today we're going to be jumping in, we're going to be tightening up that manifold there too. I'm also going to see if I can get to some of the bolts around the intake manifold, see if I can sort them out too. And then I also went through and I cleaned up some of the lines around the catch can and also the vac lines, so you can delete the ones that are in conjunction with the catch can install. So I went through, I cleaned up all those lines, and this is what that looks like right now. So you guys can already see that is like infinitely better than what it was before. All the catch can lines all flow super smooth around to the front. We had them super long, so I cut them down probably like almost 20 centimeters each, and they have fit so nicely down through there. They look so good. I also went through whilst I was there and I cleaned up some of the wiring for the turbo side. So I've just sort of zip tied it nice and up and out the way from anything hot. And this one here runs along really neatly around there. It actually follows this line right here, like super nice. So I'm really happy with that. And I cleaned up a whole bunch of vacuum lines down here, which is what I had going everywhere. So I know for a fact that I still have a single vacuum leak down there, and it took me all weekend to find. So whilst I was fixing up some of the vacuum lines, I ended up pulling off pretty much everything and just rebuilding it and putting it back in. And I reused a lot of the lines from the purge solenoid, which brings out fuel fumes in the tank and brings it back into the intake to then be burnt off. Now, I'm not quite sure exactly what happened, but either way, I've gone through and I have damaged a line somewhere in there. So I'm gonna pull the whole thing off right now. I'm going to rebuild all of the vacuum lines to then make sure there's no issues with that whole system right there, but it has been so annoying to the point where I have unplugged the purge solenoid and it gave my car a fault code. So now I have a check engine light and I still have the same issue that I had before where the car is shuddering, and I have just damaged all the lines around it. It looks much prettier, but of course in typical ZacBaldy fashion, I am like, hopefully it's nice and easy. I've already burnt my hand just trying to open the engine bay, so this could be great fun tonight. So yeah, let's get into it. It's the one. So when I went to go and rebuild this line right here, I ended up finding out, I thought it was all sweet, no worries at all. Everything is all fine. It didn't have an issue, nothing cracked. So I'm like, okay, sweet. I'll just try and reuse the entire lot because I don't really see an issue with any of it. However, I originally thought that I had an issue where this part here going to the actual hard line for the fuel tank was the issue. But I honestly think I've found it now, and I think it's this. I think when I pulled the whole lot out and that's moved, that this whole section in the middle is now becoming my issue. So, and definitely it shouldn't leak that much. That's a ridiculous amount of air and I'm not putting much into it. I'm not making 16 million pounds of boost. So I think this is one of the culprits to my issues. So fingers crossed it all just comes off and I don't break anything. And I fix this annoying little issue that I have. I think this is one of the many little vacuum leak issues I have. Awesome, so now we can replace this entire hard line with some vacuum line, some silicone vacuum line that doesn't have any leaks. Let's do that. So I have just gone through, I fixed up all of the vacuum lines throughout the entire system. So now we have some nice pretty vacuum lines. Well, not pretty, but they're gonna be good enough for what we need to do. So that's all sorted now. The next thing I'm gonna tackle is just tightening up some of the manifold bolts just to see if anything on there is loose. If it is, I'm going to just nip it up, make sure it's all nice and pretty without trying to destroy any studs. Obviously, these have been in there for the car for 320,000 kilometers, so hopefully we don't break anything. They've been there for a long time. So I'm just gonna try and see if any are loose. See how we go. All right, the other thing it could be is potentially the throttle body could be a little bit stuck. Now, there was a few little signs that potentially this could have been a thing. It hasn't been throwing any codes, which is something that's happened to me before. Actually, one of the most popular videos on my channel is actually me incorrectly cleaning a throttle body, and all you guys told me off in the comments. So I'm gonna do the exact same thing today, and I'm just gonna clean the throttle body just to see if potentially that at a certain, percentage of open, maybe potentially just getting a little bit stuck, and that may be maybe the reason why it's happening. So I've disconnected the battery. I'm going to be using just a little bit of throttle body cleaner on a rag just to see if we can try and clean up some of the gunk around the top of it. And yeah, we'll see if that does anything. Worth a shot. How good is daylight saving? It's currently 8:10 p.m. Look at that sunset. So nice. All right, so the next thing I want to do is the fuel filter. I have not changed the fuel filter in this car, and I had a bit of a look at it, and DK also saw it back when we were at Terry's shop. We had a look, and it looks like the original fuel filter that came with the car. Now, I'm sure it's been changed in the past. I know this thing has a good service history, except for maybe the trans. But either way, the fuel filter definitely needs to change out. So it's old, it looks crusty. I've done one of these before in a Falcon. It was not fun. I have a lot more tools now, so fingers crossed I can get it sorted. But yes, I'm going to give it a shot. It's another one of those things that it could be, so I'm just going to try and eliminate it, and we're going to be doing the fuel filter at the same time, which is servicing. And I love servicing over making my cars fast. Where did key go? Key. I can't believe it. My Ryobi torch that has been dying forever has just fought its last fight. I accidentally squished it underneath the car. It still kind of works, but you have to position it really good, so... man. I really done did it this time. Alright. I cannot bump it at all. That would be bad. Rightio, now we're going to get to the exhaust manifold. If you guys have heard in previous videos, you might have already heard already. It's got a massive exhaust leak at the very back there somewhere. So these are pretty easy to tighten up. Now they do come loose pretty quickly. I've already gone through, I've tightened up the entire intake manifold, and it was actually quite loose. So I nipped them all up. I'm going to do the same thing to this side over here. Fingers crossed it makes a little bit of a difference, especially for the cold start tick as well that these things have. So we'll take off all the heat shielding. Fingers crossed I don't burn myself again, but yeah, hopefully not. This is a new one. Literally a bolt to hold on the rear housing of the turbo. Just completely backed itself out. Literally just sitting in there. Could almost pull it out if that wasn't stopping it. That's wild. It is so loose. We'll tighten that one back up as well, I guess. And this is what she'll be. I don't know if you guys can see. Literally that bolt right there. It's not even in. It would be finger tight. Let's have a bit of a look. See if I can get the phone light just chilling. Well, it's not finger tight, it's loose. I mean, it is tight, but yeah. That would be a massive cause of an exhaust leak. And as you can see around there, everything's just brown and dirty and gross. So we will definitely fix that one there up. Looks like it's been doing it for a while. So we'll fix that one there up. We'll tighten everything up. Hopefully not snap anything. We'll see how we go. Well, we've replaced a whole bunch of lines, we've put everything back together. Now it's time to take it for a drive. It's currently just clicked over to 9:30. I did a whole bunch of stuff this afternoon and everything just worked. Everything was flawless. So once again, waiting for something to go wrong, but we'll see how we go. The biggest thing I'm hoping is just we fix that vacuum leak that's in the manifold there. So I know a very distinct noise that it started making after I did all the vacuum stuff. So I'm hoping that that noise is now gone. That's gonna be my biggest thing. We already know that the exhaust leak is all fixed up. We've done the throttle body clean, we've done the fuel filter, so this thing should be feeling much nicer. And who knows, if it is one of those things, it may even fix the shutter that we have. I have no idea if it does, but I'll find out. Go for a quick little drive. Got no sounds much smoother. Ignore the check engine light because I got that just before because I unplugged the purge valve or purge solenoid. But yeah, this thing is feeling really nice. All those for yous. It's already sounding much nicer. I can feel a slight difference. I'm not quite sure yet. It could just be the fact that I've done heaps of stuff and I don't know. But yeah, I guess we'll find out. Alright guys, so you won't be able to see me whatsoever, but the car feels absolutely fantastic. It already feels much better than what it did before. It feels much smoother, it's much more responsive, like... Whoop, there goes a bit of intercooler piping. So yeah, we'll head back, we'll check out that one there, make sure she's all tight, and yeah, see what the go is there.